And really, they're not really solving anything interesting. They're just playing around with things that they find interesting. And then because they're looked at as leaders, because they're the ones that speak at all the conferences, then you have your everyday analyst or analytics manager says, well, so and so who spoke at this conference is talking about doing this type of thing, so we need to do that in our company. Why? I mean, maybe it's useful, but why? Again, why do we need to use that? How does that help support what we're trying to solve for?
Yeah, and all I can think of is the a couple episodes ago when we were talking about having an analytics team that is overwhelmed by the number of tools and all of the logic in place, all of the technology in place. They're overwhelmed. This is an exact reason of not knowing the value and not defining what is value for this team is experimenting with all of these things, and then the reason they're there gets lost to the mist of time. Why are we still maintaining this? Why do we have
And
this
no one
deployed?
knows.
And no one knows. Like, is it something really valid, or is it something that you were experimenting with? And ultimately, what it could lead to is the load bearing spreadsheet. Like someone deletes just something they think is innocuous, and half the Martech stack comes tumbling down.
And by the way, I don't want people to take the wrong message from this, because playing around with things and experimenting with things is incredibly useful and valuable. In fact, I look at almost everything I do, including building and running 33 sticks, as nothing more than a giant experiment. The difference is it's tied to a purpose, something that we're trying to do, trying to solve for, trying to create. So experimentation within that framework of something that we have a vision for what we're trying to do, whether it's trying to, like at 33.6, create a different way of having a relationship with work, a different way of doing consulting that provides more meaning and value through the use of data, then experimentation is incredibly valuable. But if we don't have a purpose and we're just like experimenting to experiment, it can be an incredibly wasteful amount of time and focus. And again, not to say there isn't time for fun, right? Like we all want to, as you did recently down in Dallas, go and play your little game show team building game. Like there's always time to do things.
Yeah, you're right.
There's always times to have things that aren't connected with a purpose or an outcome. That's okay, but
yeah,
in moderation.
exactly. And that's the thing is it's easy to build the straw man argument that it's well, you're talking about just having a team that's chained to the desk for 40 hours a week, work, and not like researching or trying new things. That's not it at all. What we're saying is when you don't understand the value of what your team brings to an organization, or worse yet, you don't can't even put a definition to what is value, the team starts to spiral, and what goes from productive experimentation and that free time to try new things, that's all they're doing. And the it's hard to define like what is the necessary stuff that has to get done, what is the new things we need to experiment with, and then what is stuff that should be said no to.